I think Ashton Kutcher is problematic because if you recall, he and his wife defended Danny Masterson, who is a serial rapist and was convicted of rape. I think he's away for life. They wrote letters to the judge.
That's right.
Saying they would let Danny watch their daughter alone. I mean, vile. I don't trust that guy at all. With Usher and Bieber, hypothetically, we don't know anything, but were they victimized by Diddy at young ages?
Justin Bieber says he just wants a quiet life now. No more chaos, less touring, more time with his family and his faith. But the moment he tried to step back from the spotlight, that's when the questions really started. Why did he speak out about Diddy at all? Why did he distance himself from people he used to call family? And why do so many insiders keep hinting that Justin knows way more than he can say? Visual note: screenshot of a recent headline about Justin's statement regarding Diddy. Blurred slightly, but readable. Tonight, we're going to walk through how Justin went from teenage prodigy partying in Diddy's world to a grown man trying to untangle himself from the same industry that made him a star. And by the end of this video, you can decide for yourself. Is Justin just tired of fame? Or is he quietly trying to escape something much darker? We have to start with the version of Justin most people remember. The kid with the floppy hair. The one Usher discovered. The one fans literally chased down hotel hallways. He was a teenager when the industry got full control of his schedule, his image, his friendships. Back then, seeing him at parties with huge names felt like a dream come true. One of those names was Sean Diddy Combs. According to interviews and old clips, Diddy reportedly took Justin under his wing for a while. Sleepovers, studio visits, trips, the kind of access that would make any 15-year-old feel like he'd made it. But years later, when lawsuits and allegations started to surface around Diddy, those same clips began to look very different to people online. What once looked like mentorship now raises uncomfortable questions. Questions Justin has never fully answered on camera. There's one interview fans always come back to. In a 2020 interview about Billie Eilish, Justin got emotional. He said he wanted to protect her, that the industry can chew up young artists, and that he didn't want her to go through what he went through. He talked about people telling him they loved him, and then turning their backs. He talked about being young, confused, and not knowing who to trust. At the time, most people thought he was just being sweet. Now, after everything that's reportedly come out around Diddy and the way young performers are treated, that same interview hits a lot harder. To be clear, Justin never said, "Diddy did this," or "this person hurt me." But it's the way he talks about being unprotected that keeps people replaying that clip.
I wanted to protect the moment. You know, I don't know how many opportunities I'm gonna get. You know, we never know how many opportunities we're gonna get with anybody. I mean, just, I'm tearing up thinking about it, just with the Kobe situation, you know? You just never know. And so I just wanted to be a good example, you know? And yeah.
Did you feel protective of her?
Yeah, I definitely feel protective of her. It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, you know, telling me they love me and, you know, just turn their back on you in a second. So yeah, it's hard because I want her to know that, you know, she can count on me. But at the end of the day, I'm never gonna force myself to be in a relationship with her. It has to be natural, right? So I just kind of, you know, let her do her thing, and if she ever needs me, I'm gonna be here for her. But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters and yeah. So yeah, I just want to protect her, you know. I don't want her to lose it. I don't want her to, you know, go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody. So yeah, if she ever needs me, I'm just a call away.
Another piece of the puzzle is Justin's relationship with his own parents and managers. Commentators have pointed out how young he was when big decisions were being made for him. Tours, contracts, who he stayed with, what events he went to. People now look back and ask, who was actually protecting him? Who was making sure he was safe when he was a minor surrounded by adults with limitless power and money? This is where former insiders and artists start adding their own stories. Some of them, like Jaguar Wright and others, have claimed that certain parties and circles in Hollywood were never meant for kids. Yet young stars ended up there anyway. Their claims are still just that, claims. But they line up with a bigger pattern fans have noticed for years. The younger you are, the easier it is for people to control you.
What do you think he went through?
Because he knows what's been happening to Billy. Just like everybody knew what was happening to Millie Bobby Brown girl with Drake. These people are monsters.
Before we...
You notice Billie Eilish's career has slowed down a little bit.
Yeah.
Why? She had that Bond movie song she was doing, so it ain't... Because I think if a victim comes out against Usher, it'll show how egregious this shit is. Because if he can be a predator, then anybody can be a predator.
Can't smile in your face the whole time.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, people look at Usher, they don't see that. They're not seeing the victim. They're not seeing that boy that got rushed to the hospital. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there.
Oh.
Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there. Diddy had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute. And his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that.
Then there's the business side, which almost never gets framed like gossip. According to multiple reports and interviews, Justin's catalog and future earnings became a huge bargaining chip. His longtime manager, Scooter Braun, sold his company to a major Korean music group, Hybe, in a deal reportedly worth around $1 billion. Part of that value was tied to Justin's music and brand. Around the same time, Justin launched a massive world tour. He got sick early on, reportedly dealt with serious health issues, and had to cancel many shows. Fans saw his face partially paralyzed in a video message. His wife later talked about her own health scare. Behind the scenes, according to people close to the situation, the tour had already been advanced out, meaning huge amounts of money were on the line. When Justin couldn't finish, there were suddenly questions about debt, insurance, and who would be responsible. From the outside, it just looked like another canceled tour. From the inside, it may have been the moment Justin realized how trapped he really was. Commentators like Candace Owens have publicly claimed that Justin is now in a quiet war with the music executives who built his career. In one segment, she said Justin doesn't care about the money anymore and simply wants out of contracts, out of deals, out of an industry she compared to a machine. Again, that's her framing, not a sworn statement from Justin. But it resonates with people when they see him stepping away, dropping fewer projects, and focusing more on his marriage and his faith. If you connect that with the Diddy allegations, a lot of viewers form their own theory. Justin isn't just tired. He's scared of being pulled back into the same circles that nearly broke him.
I have another crazy inside Hollywood scoop for you guys today, this time pertaining to Justin Bieber. This is crazy. Daily Mail, last 48 hours. Here are some headlines. Inside Kendall and Kylie Jenner's desperate attempts to help Hailey and Justin Bieber amid split speculation. Justin Bieber reacts to wife Hailey hitting an event without him amid rumors of a marriage breakdown. I'm told that Justin Bieber, just like Michael Jackson, is engaged in a war against musical executives, except the musical executives have gotten smarter over time. He wants out of Hollywood. He does not care about the money. He wants out. It is the same war which was fought by Michael Jackson. It is the same war which was fought by Ye. Okay? The talent is you, Justin Bieber. And if you are wanting to, as you have demonstrated, lean into this next phase of your life where it is about family and it is about Christ, then know that there is absolutely nothing that can stop you. Just speak. Literally, I am begging you. Forget the contracts, violate them all. We're coming to the courtroom with you. Just speak. You have the strength to do that. Justin Bieber. So what is your take there?
He's not going after the whole industry. It really feels like this one is kind of Scooter specifically taking personal offense to what's going on here. And Scooter kind of got trapped in the middle of this deal with Hybe.
Discuss a bit about the deal with Hybe.
So Scooter was hemorrhaging his clients. Scooter's very well known in the industry for not being, shall we say, the nicest guy to work with or for. Over and over, artists throughout his career have left him and said that he's great until he doesn't need you anymore, and then you're discarded. And Justin was like his last big name. And he sold his whole business, Ithaca Holdings, to Hybe, which is the K-pop company, which is very like the Korean mafia of music. And he sold what he had for $1 billion to Hybe. And this company, Ithaca Holdings, was like making less than 200 million a year in revenue, I believe. So it's like they're selling it at this crazy high valuation. And presumably that's because it includes the future perpetual rights to Justin Bieber and his brand, right?
Okay, I didn't even look at this.
And so, yeah, Justin then goes on this crazy, more than a year-long world tour where he happens to get COVID at the start of it, and then he happens to get an injury that looks an awful lot like a vaccine injury.
His wife also had she had a brain clot.
Exactly. And he winds up with half his face paralyzed, can't continue. Apparently, the tour was booked out on advances, which is not uncommon for the industry as far as I'm aware, but it was such a big tour. We're talking hundreds of millions, at least tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars advanced. And so when he's partway through this tour and then can't continue, suddenly there's a whole bunch of debt that's been incurred that's not getting paid back. And obviously then Justin goes to his management and is like, so we have insurance, right? This is no problem. We have insurance for this kind of a thing. And allegedly what then was told to him is that, no, you broke your contract. So there is no insurance payout here. You actually have to cover this debt. Like all of these things reflect on the management. Right. And how poor their management style is. So that all happens in the middle, and Justin is trying to get out, and Scooter's on the hook for $1 billion worth of value. Like he's promised $1 billion worth of Justin Bieber's future to this Korean company, which he's now on the board of. It feels to me like everyone is sort of trapped in bad ideas that are sort of leveraged to the hilt in terms of how much money is involved and how many promises are involved, and it all revolves around Justin continuing to produce music, which like anyone who's had a kid or a creative in their life knows that no creative dude like Justin is going to be producing hit singles if he hates you and you're trying to control his whole life. And so it feels like we're seeing not only these smear campaigns to try to get him back in line coming from Scooter, but it also feels like we're seeing Justin kind of acting out because he has no power. He's in secret litigation. They won't let him open a new clothing company. They won't let him like profess his faith in God, or they're slandering that. So it's messy in every direction.
Yeah. It's really interesting because it also makes you just revisit everybody in the past that has kind of gone through a similar thing, a similar cycle.
Now let's talk about Ashton Kutcher, because that's where this story widens out. According to old interviews, Ashton and Diddy used to be close. They described their group as a kind of modern rat pack. Actors, musicians, all partying together, going to games, being photographed at clubs. In one interview, Ashton told a lighthearted story about going on a run with Diddy. He joked that Diddy hated losing so much that he trained for the New York City Marathon just so he wouldn't get shown up again. But when the interviewer asked about Diddy party stories, Ashton also said there were a lot he can't tell. On its own, that's just a playful line. Now, with federal investigations and multiple lawsuits swirling around Diddy, people replay that clip and wonder, what did he see? What did all of them see?
Seems like you would be more interested in that, like Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher were before Ashton and his Diddy partying became a set. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's government-based going on. You got Ashton Kutcher in love with Mila Kunis on that 70s show. Then they break up for absolutely no reason after he starts hanging out with Diddy. Then he marries Demi Moore, who drained him of all the adrenochrome she can, and apparently he replenished himself by doing inappropriate things with their daughters. And then there's the Danny Masterson connection too, who Vlad, if I am correct, and Ashton Kutcher both vouch for. These are weird people.
I think Ashton Kutcher's problematic because if you recall, he and his wife defended Danny Masterson, who is a serial rapist and was convicted of rape. I think he's away for life. They wrote letters to the judge.
That's right.
Saying they would let Danny watch their daughter alone. I mean, vile. I don't trust that guy at all. With Usher and Bieber, hypothetically, we don't know anything, but were they victimized by Diddy at young ages? You know, you just never know what was done to them. What was done to him? His parents threw him to the wolves, literally.
What mother would give her 15-year-old over to Sean Combs for a weekend? Who would do that? No matter how badly your son and you want him to become a star.
Did we learn nothing from Michael Jackson?
Yeah, right.
You know, when that documentary, that HBO documentary came out, which I could only watch the first part of it because it was so dark and so upsetting, because it was just all of these mothers feeding their young sons, knowing what was going on most likely, and they didn't care. And the damage is lifelong. And this is a betrayal on so many levels. But watching that, I was having the same thought. Like, what mother is giving their 15-year-old boy over to a grown man for 48 hours to go buck wild? Like,
I have a son who is turning 15 in a week. 15 is young. They're young. These are not men yet. They are still boys figuring it all out. Even if you have a mature, really smart, awesome one like I do, never, in no world, would I hand him over to someone like that, who at a minimum, you know, is a rap star in a very controversial industry full of debauchery.
Former bodyguards and associates have also added to the tension. One former security member, Gene Deal, has claimed in interviews that federal authorities have been paying attention to Diddy for years. He suggests that if investigators truly had everything they needed back then, some alleged victims might have been spared later. He also points out that Diddy was reportedly known for filming a lot of what happened around him: parties, gatherings, private moments. To some, that sounds like a man who just loves content. To others, it sounds like someone quietly building leverage. If even part of that is true, it would explain why so many celebrities who once seemed glued to Diddy now keep their distance or stay incredibly quiet.
Hey man, I just heard about that. But you heard about the reports that Ashton Kutcher, he's worried that Diddy might lie on his friends? You heard about that?
But that's what I've been saying. I said, if the federal government wanted somebody more than they want Diddy, if he has some information about some people that they would rather have other than him, he's able to get that information to them. But they gotta want it. They gotta want it. And Ashton Kutcher and him they were real tight. One time, me, him, Ashton Kutcher went to a Nets game and we met Jay-Z there. You know what I'm saying? So they were close, they was cool.
But you think Diddy would do something like that? Lie on other celebrities?
Well, why would it have to be a lie? Because if he get caught in, he gonna be as truthful as possible. You understand? He's gonna give them enough information, whereas that it's gonna make him look like the choir boy. So, Ashton Kutcher, he has a right to be kind of alarmed if he was doing things with Diddy. Remember they used to have that group called the what do they call it? The Brat Pack? With Diddy, him, and a couple other guys was hanging out. Leonardo, one other guy too. I forgot the other guy's name. So, they all might be worried.
For him to come out with that comment, I mean, that is suspect. It sounds like he's worried that Diddy might give up some information.
That's why. That's why he made that statement, to set it up. To set up the atmosphere that, yo, this guy's gonna lie on us. This guy ain't gonna tell the truth on us. But what we know is that wherever Diddy went, his tape recorders went. His camera equipment was working. He was videotaping everything. So they might have that videotape already.
Right. And out of curiosity, have you had any kind of contact with the feds?
I have not spoken to a prosecutor. I haven't spoken to anybody connected to what is happening right now with Brother Love, Diddy, Sean Combs, and none of that. There's no reason for them to speak on me, because when I spoke about stuff about Sean Combs, it was stuff that happened personally to people around us, and there's nothing that I said that could be deemed criminally that could have got Sean Combs into jail. See, that's what people want you to think, that I've said so much that it's the reason why he's in jail and the prosecutor got him. But they can't tell you what law that I said that he broke, or what did he did illegally to get him in jail. They can't even tell you that. If you ask somebody to say, well, what did Gene Deal say that Puff did that led him to get in jail?
This brings us back to Justin. He's made it clear he wants peace. Less touring, more privacy. He's publicly rejected certain allegations tying him to any reported criminal behavior around Diddy, and emphasized that he doesn't want to overshadow people who are bravely speaking out. On the surface, that sounds simple, a man clearing his name, but it also raises questions. If Justin truly had nothing to worry about, would he feel the need to say anything at all? Is he just trying to get ahead of rumors? Or is he drawing a hard line between himself and anyone still defending Diddy? We don't know the full answer. Only Justin, the people closest to him, and whatever investigators are working behind the scenes really do. What we can see is the pattern. A kid brought into adult circles way too young. Decades of pressure, cameras, contracts, and power games. Friends and mentors who later become the center of lawsuits and federal investigations. Whether you think Justin Bieber is just burned out or actively trying to escape a dangerous system, one thing is obvious. The boy who once wanted fame more than anything now looks like a man who would trade almost anything to be free from it. So I want to hear from you. Do you think Justin will ever sit down and tell the full story of what he went through around Diddy and the rest of Hollywood? Or do you think he'll choose his peace and keep those secrets buried for good? Tell me your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into what really happens behind the scenes in the industry, make sure you subscribe before you go.